guys. So after I made one of those videos where I was talking to you guys about understanding price structure, I want to bring you guys to one particular trade that, well, I won't say trade, but one particular stop that I have never taken a loss on. Now, this is the only one, okay? We all had our losses and have been drawn down, absolutely. But I have never lost a trade with this one. Now, I'm primarily a swing trader, so I'm holding my trades for an extended period of time. And with this particular one, you can day trade it. The most important thing is being at a key level with it, but long term wise, letting very specific levels hit, getting back to certain areas, it's a damn good one, okay? And it's one of my favorite ones. And if you saw the overview that I did where I talked about my 10K trade overview, it was MRK, okay? And that was one of those ones where I rode MRK all the way from around $84 up to those hundreds, okay? That was a very good trade there. And so I want to take you to their chart. And I want to show you guys how simple it is to react to certain levels, being able to spot these things. Because one thing about MRK, okay, it's not meant to be a vow to stop at all. Because for one, they have 77% institution ownership. And so when you have such a massive overload of institution investing in a company, it's not going to make these drastic moves unless all of them decide they want to sell off a ton of shares. And even with that happening, it can't just happen out of the blue. Okay, with that type of institution ownership, some of that stuff has to have like these massive approvals before they're even able to take place. Okay, so this is one of those ones that it breaks out, it retests. It holds up, it goes again, it retests. It's like a lot of breaking retesting here, a lot of very clear price movement, uptrends, downtrend structure. It's just like it does the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys to the charts. I want to show this to you to be a lesson, as well as for you to be able to find some opportunity with this particular stop on your end. Take you guys down some. Okay, I'm going to go back to these low, well, higher up 80s on MRK, all right? And I want to start here, okay? Now, in that video, that short rather that I posted, I talked about understanding higher highs, higher lows. You look for things like, breaks of structure. You may have even heard of change of character. Now, I'm not going to cram all of that in this video because break of structure, change of character is definitely something that I would want to do as a separate lesson so that you could take that and pair it with what you may be seeing on your charts. Okay, so I won't cram too much of that here. But let's look here. Now, this right here is where I'm gonna bring this up just a little bit. This is around 91. We're gonna get this exact little area here. So that high, yeah, it's 91 even. Now, you can see where the price moved up, had a nice little run up here. We got rejected in this area, and then the price came down. Now, when you have something that's resistance, right? When the price comes down or have a nice pullback, what are you looking for? A potential retest to that point to see if you're going to get something like a double top, to see if it's actually going to break it, probably break it, retest, and then continue. That's some of the things that you kind of expect. Okay. And so if you come over I'm going to take this down to the daily so that way we can take some of these candles off here and we can kind of bring this thing back a little bit, okay? So you notice where when the price ran up, we had that rejection at that 91. Now let's come a little bit further to the left. What do you see in this same little area here, okay? The price came down here. They could not get back over. This is on the daily time frame. They re-attempted to get back and then we came down. You can see where we pushed up. We played around this same little area right up in here. Okay. Now, that area here, we broke again and we retested just a bit and it pushed up at around 90.25. This is why I talk a lot too about sometimes it's not just like an exact level. Sometimes it's more of an area that you want to watch to look for entries or exits or potential opportunities to execute somewhere. It won't always be like 91.10 or 91.50 like an exact area. You want to kind of pay attention to a zone as to where it may retest, it may reject, and things like that. In this case, they came down, they broke back below that 91, retested up there, and then we came back down. And so it held below for a while. And as you can see, when we got there, it rejected. This was one of those things where you go further to the left on your chart. I'm going to go to the weekly, take even more of these candles off. Okay. And so you go to the left to see how many times that level has been tested or what was the price action like around this exact same level to kind of give you a general idea of how things may go. Okay. And so that right there can allow you to look for a potential entry for puts possibly, and it comes down. Or if it breaks above it, you know that this is a solid level that if it breaks, it could potentially rally, or it can, push, make a nice push up, come back, retest, hold it, and then rally. Just all about reading and reacting to what you're seeing, okay? And in this case here, we got a break right up in here, and this thing made a nice push to the upside. Now, I'm going to bring this back down and I'm going to go to that 4 hour time frame. Now, a lot of times when I'm planning out my trade, I tend to look at that 4 hour, the daily, and then I'll sometimes go to the weekly just to kind of take some of those candles off, see what we're working with levels wise, and it takes me further back much quicker. So we got this break here, okay? It broke, it pulled back a bit, pushed up again, pulled back again, and then we kind of started going from there. Now, I got in at around $84 on MRK, wrote this thing up to those hundreds, and you can actually go and rewatch that video where I actually talk about it, take you to the charts, and kind of show you guys why I made that decision. Okay. Now, you notice up here, when we got up here to around 105, okay, we got up here, they couldn't break over that. That's what, one, two, three, four, five. This is on over 5 candles here. This is on the 4 hour time frame. So that's one, two, about 2 days, about almost 3 days here that it couldn't break over that and it pushed back down. Now, we finally got this little break here. Right up in here, we pushed up, we retested around the same little area here, and we began to get back above that and we pushed a bit higher. Now, what do you see here? Even if you can still find opportunity on a lower time frames, but this is where you see the additional opportunity. Now we broke over a level that it was rejecting over here over a number of days. We had a nice little pull down. We get up here again, we break it, and we pull back up again, and it comes back up, and we retest that same level. This is where I would have been looking for my opportunity, and this here is back in January where I got into my next trade with MRK. Okay, we came back down again and we retested. What I waited to see is if we were going to hold above this 105 level by simply judging by what was going on here and the fact that we did break below that, but we were able to get back above it. Okay, and so we came back, we retested here, and this thing made a nice move up. I wrote this thing up for about $5 on MRK, and I got out at around, if I'm not mistaken, it was like right around 111 on this particular trade. So it was in this area here. And the reason I set that target there is because initially, you guys see right up in here around 112, we have this rejection up in here, and you can see how it rejected a number of times in that area. And so my core target was around the 112, but then I was kind of looking at that 111 to kind of get out of that thing. And so from that 105, I rolled it up to around 111, came out of that trade. Now, this is where I started plotting my next move. See how we got that break. It held up as a support level here, and then now that I wrote it up here, it's time to come out and we're looking for our next break or the rejection. Now, I was going to be looking for one or two things to either see that it rejected at 112 and it started coming back down and then attempted to retest up there again and then break above that. Or I was looking for a solid break over that 112. And even if it broke and rallied, I'm not tripping about that because what I want to see is that they pull back and give us either a higher low or they give us a complete retest back at 112. And now, once something breaks resistance, it becomes support. Once something breaks support, it becomes resistance. So, breaking above here and kind of see that, I would want to either see that we just simply get a higher low and start going higher where it stops out, or we get a complete retest back to that 112 area, hold up, look for my opportunity for entry here, and ride this thing back to that upside. Okay, so even when something breaks a level, I'm not upset about that, and I'm not like, oh, I missed my run. No, because when a stock moved the exact same way over and over again, you already know that even if you don't fully get a retest, you will likely get a pullback. Okay. And so in this case, we came down to around 116. With that 116, I want to show you guys. I'm going to go back a little bit more, and I'm going to go back to that daily time frame, and we are going to go further back. So will you see where we got this run and we pull back to that 116? Okay, this is where again you use levels to the left to give you a general idea of where the price could potentially pull back. And so in this case, I went back a little bit further to kind of look for either a level or a particular area that we would be working with, to where if we do get a pullback, where is a high probability spot that it could potentially pull out. So that way, that area will act as our higher low as to where this is where it will stop. And then it can start to push back up with the potential of getting a higher high. Okay, just kind of letting us know that this thing is like slightly on an uptrend and where it may be going. And so this here is kind of where I came back to kind of see how they were playing along these levels. We see a ton of wicks here just to kind of show a lot of rejection, a lot of indecision as well, to where the price was kind of touching up in that area. It was kind of rejecting. We had support in the same area. This is what I was looking for. And this is also why 112 stayed on my radar, because we still had all of this up in here on that 112, as well as what we were just looking at. Okay. And so it still hold 112 still held firmly as a potential support. So 112, of course, was the pullback. And 116 was that higher low that I was looking for to potentially hold up, make a move, and ride that thing back up. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I did not get in when we first got there. I actually got in on that next day, and my next target was right up where it stopped out at, which was at 122. Okay, that's up in there. Now, you just simply use the points where when the price rallies up, I want to go and see where did the price stop? Where did we get that rejection? Where, and you can see here we had tons of it up in here. Like the bears were really attempting to step in. And so that right there, once that pullback happened, that's my next target. And so that is where I was aiming for. And if I'm not mistaken, this one here, I went from 116 and I got out at around 121. Now, even though I set a particular target for something, you don't have to always just stay there to let it hit it to a T, but you can. Solely up to you. And with this one, I had multiple contracts, and I did sell my first contract as always at 30% profit, and then I leave the rest as runs. Okay, I always secure profit even when I'm in a trade for an extended period of time or planning to be. Okay, and so that target was just simply where that last stop out took place, and that is where I was aiming for to get out of that trade. Now, we came right back down, as you guys can see. Once we got up there, it started playing along these lines up here. We finally got back below this little point that it finally broke above here. And what did we get? We got a pullback all the way back down to 112. This right here is the game of being patient when it comes to trading. Okay, that patience allows you to wait out levels that have the potential to get retested. And one thing about MRK, it shows you, if you go and look at their chart, that they're breaking and retesting the same level over and over and over again. And so, like right now, I'm waiting to see if they're going to get back to 125. Okay, that was that recent peak that they hit up to right up in here. Let's take this off. And this high point is 125.14. This right here is where I'm looking to see if they retest now. And even if they don't retest it, if they do, they reject. I'm still watching 116 and 112. Why? We simply taking it back to what they gave us right up in here. Okay, this is at 112. We broke that point from that heavy resistance. We had a nice run, got this higher low up here. We pushed up, got this another higher low, higher high, and then we start getting some lower highs and lower lows, and we started coming back down. And where did it go? And where did it hold up firmly? I made another move here, not here, but I got in on that next candle once we closed above the candle that we tested 112. And I rode this thing all the way up and I got out at 120, which is my most recent one. And now I'm waiting to see what we are about to do between that 125, that 116, and that 112. And so it does the same thing over and over and over again. And this is why I like to say it's one that you just cannot lose when you have patience with allowing those levels to retest and allowing it to revisit spots that we already know acts as a strong support, a strong resistance supply, demand, all of that. And it also plays a lot too when you're looking for things like breaks of structure. Okay. If you got a level that that thing has been holding above or below and it finally breaks, showing you a very, very strong break of structure here, then that too gives you that go to say, okay, we done broke above this. So I know that above this level, the bulls are going to take control or the bears are going to take control. And you also look for things like trends, consolidation, and reversals, or trend, consolidation, and continuation. I'm gonna put all that in another video. When I say that this is the one that I never ever have lost a trade on, that doesn't mean that's across the board now. That's actually why I like trading this one here. Now I could just stick to MRK, and this is the only thing that I trade simply because it's I put in, I have nice position sizes with this one. I always do anywhere between 5 to 7 contracts for MRK. And so my most recent one though I did 3 contracts. So it's like I'm just simply following and reacting to what the charts are telling me, reacting and respecting the levels, sticking to my targets. And because you're getting pullbacks, you have a clear target to where it's going to go, and you just take your profits along the way. You guys to keep in your arsenal, want for you to come over here and check, kind of study the charts. And I will be making additional videos where I will kind of talk more about, things like break of structure, change of character, understanding higher highs and higher lows, identifying trends, consolidation, breakouts, continuation, all of that, so that you are able to apply that on any chart that you may be seeing. All right. So I hope that this video helped. I hope that you can take a little bit of what I showed you guys to kind of apply it somewhere and something for you to actually spot and to work on your patience if that's something that you're having a hard time with. All right. So I will see you guys on those charts. Hope this helps.